Mark woke up one morning to find two horns growing out of his head. He was so freaked out that he didn't know what to do. He quickly put on a hat to conceal them. Then, he frantically rubbed his horns against the wall. He could even bend steel bars with them, but no matter how hard he tried, the horns wouldn't budge an inch. Suddenly, a bunch of pythons appeared around him. Mark grabbed a weapon, ready to defend himself, but to his surprise, the snakes didn't attack. Instead, they bowed down to him as if he was their master. A week earlier, Mark had been planning to propose to his girlfriend Lena, but just as he pulled out the ring, she abruptly broke up with him. No matter how much Mark pleaded, Lena remained resolute in her decision. Left with no choice, Mark drove away. The next morning, a cop showed up at his door to inform him that Lena had been murdered. As her boyfriend, Mark became the prime suspect. Although there was no evidence tying him to the crime, everyone blamed him for her death. Reporters and protesters swarmed outside his house every day, severely disrupting his life. On the day of Lena's memorial, everyone held candles to mourn her while Mark could only hide in the shadows, silently missing her. After everyone left, he came out, unable to accept her death. Drunk and distraught, he kicked over the memorial offerings, causing a commotion. The next day, that's when the horns grew out of his head. Terrified, he rushed to the hospital for an examination. But something strange happened. Anyone who saw his horns would involuntarily blurt out their innermost thoughts. A woman suddenly stood up and started arguing with a hospital cleaner. Mark tried to intervene, and suddenly a vision of the woman's memories flashed in his mind. At this point, Mark had no idea he now possessed demonic powers. Even the nurse examining him was entranced by his devil's foot. Left with no other options, he sought out a priest. But the normally gentle priest started cursing him the moment he saw Mark's horns. Desperate, Mark turned to his best friend Arthur for help. Strangely, Arthur was the only one who couldn't see the horns. This made Mark start to doubt his own sanity. Mark vowed to find Lena's killer no matter what. On the street, he ran into his own brother. It turned out that on the night Mark left, a heartbroken Lena had gotten into his brother's car. His brother took advantage of the situation, groping her as he drove. Terrified, Lena jumped out of the car and ran into the woods alone. The next morning, Mark's brother woke up to find himself holding a blood-stained rock. When he went into the forest, Lena's cold, lifeless body was the first thing he saw.